Good morning, guys. So it's a beautiful Saturday morning. A little bit of clouds in the sky. It's all blue over here, but then over here there's some clouds. Still nice though. So this is going to be a different video, something different than building. I'm at the back of our property, and what I'm going to get started on today is getting this area mapped out. And as you can see on the trailer behind me, I have a bunch of trees. So those are, I think there's about 14 or 15 Koa trees. We have a couple flamethrower palms, and then there's a Rollinia and a lime tree in there, which are going to get planted further down the property somewhere. The two palms are going to go on either side of the gate that will eventually be here. But all this stuff has been in pots for a while. As you can see, the Koa trees, some of them are over 6 feet tall already, so I need to get them in the ground. So I have a neighbor coming over that has an excavator, and he's going to help dig the holes to drop these trees into. I am still going to need to go get some media as far as soil and all that, cinder, like whatever the mix is that I'm going to end up making to put these trees in the ground. But this is going to be what this video is, planting Koa trees. And essentially this area back here, I plan to build a palapa, which is like a thatch roof. It's a thatch roof building. It's different names in different cultures. In Hawaiian, it's a hale. Samoan is palapa. I mean, pretty much every, South Pacific island, Polynesian, they have a version of this building. Mine is not going to necessarily follow any specific design. It'll probably be kind of a mix of, different ones, but it will be, my plan is the very center of this area, there's going to be a round building, and then I'm going to have a driveway that kind of goes around it. So when you pull in from the front, you can drive around the palapa. And then beyond that, I'm going to build up a short rock wall that'll maybe be a foot or two high. And then that whole space is going to get filled with, dirt and plants. And essentially the Koa trees are going to line the perimeter of this area. So this area is about 100 feet by 100 feet. Is roughly what I had the D9 bulldozer clear when he was here. So that's what I'm going to try and map out today. I'm going to start, which you might be able to see like there in the background, just barely, there's a pink flag there and a stick. That is the pin on the back of my property. There's one on both corners. So I'm going to be putting in a T-post right at the pin and then pulling string between the T-posts so that I can figure out my the spot where the front is going to go using the what is it, the palladium theorem, whatever that is that you use to measure a triangle. So basically I have 100 feet this way and 100 feet this way, and then the calculation will give me what the distance is corner to corner. That way I know that my fence going forward is actually going to be square and on the property line. So that's what I'm going to get started on. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, and let's get to work. All right, so you can see the trees kind of laid out. This won't be exactly where they're at. Flamethrower palms up here on either side of the gate, and then the Koa trees are spread out around. Once I get the actual string lines up, then I'll do some measurements. But essentially what I'm going to be doing is they'll be about 10 feet in from the fence, and then they'll be spaced about 20 feet apart from each other. So eventually when these all grow in, this is going to be like a nice, shaded, area. And around these Koa trees, as they start to grow, I'm going to plant some hapu'u ferns, which are the nice ferns. There happens to be one growing right here, which these are the nice ferns that everyone likes, kind of a symbol of the rainforest in Hawaii on this side of the island anyway. So then those will be scattered in between the Koa trees, and then I'm going to do anthuriums or some other kind of smaller flowering plant. And this is going to take years, of course, to get, you know, done, but this is the first, I guess, initial stage of setting up and getting things going. So I'm going to get the generator going and go and get my T-posts in on the back corners. All right, so I got the first T-post in, and if you look down here at the bottom, if you see that little gear looking piece or the spline, that's actually the pin for the corner of the property. So these vary in how they look. I've seen them like this. I've seen ones where they just look like big nails. Sometimes railroad spikes. I mean, I think when they were doing this, they just used whatever metal they had, scrap metal, something like that. Because you think about if they're laying out a property or a community, like where I live, there's 2,000 lots, you know. So you take that, 4 corners on each lot, even though the lots share a corner. So this is actually, you know, there's 4 lots essentially that share this corner. The ones on that side, the ones on my side, and then, you know, side by side. But anyway, that's what it looks like. So let me go get the post put in over on that side, if you can see the flag over there, and get a string line. And this string line is not necessarily where my fence is going to be, because you see there's like a pretty good hill here. So, but it's going to give me a point of reference, so I know if I want to bring, you know, go in 3 feet, let's say, and then put my fence line, because I don't want to be into these trees and stuff. I just want to have a clean fence line here. So let me go get that one put in, and then get a string stretched across here. All right, so string lines across. As you can see, I painted that T-post orange. Not that I think it's ever going to be a problem finding these corners again, because it's never going to be that overgrown. So this T-post is in, and as you can see on this side, this one looks like a big nail head, so that's the variance in the pins. I tried to put them kind of in the exact same position on both sides, just so I know if it's off by a couple inches, then, you know, over hundreds of feet, the couple inches translates to feet, and then it can be off. But I think this will work good just for getting my 100 by 100 area mapped out back here. So let me get set up to go to the next corner. All right, so I got these mapped out using the triangle calculator, basically for 100 feet and 3 inches, which is what it was between these 2 posts. So 100 feet and 3 inches this way, from that post, that corner, to this corner should have been 141 feet and 3/4 inch. So that pole is in place. That's just a piece of PVC, but it's right where I'll be putting the T-post. And then this one over here, I put a mark on the ground, but it's actually kind of in those trees a little bit. So yeah. But anyway, I got my string ran corner to corner along with the tape, and then I got the center spot marked here. So this is the center of the whole area. So I'm going to put a stake in the ground here, and then that's what I'll use. Then I'll run my tape or string out, you know, 15 feet. I guess I got to figure out how far this is going to be, and then I can start marking out where this structure is going to be, even though I'm not even doing anything with that today, just to give like a visual on the ground of what the area will look like. So let me get these last 2 T-posts in the ground, get some string lines stretched. Also stretching a line between these 2 posts. Once I get them up, I can figure out exactly where my gate's going to be, and then that way I'll know where to put the flamethrower palms. Digging holes. All right, so getting the last couple up there, the palm trees done. And then these ones are all pretty much dug. I'll have to come back and I'll clean these up by hand a little bit. And then the rocks, I'll end up, you know, stacking a little wall around and building it up a little bit, and then filling the whole thing with soil. So you can see all of these are pretty much sitting in their holes all the way around. So nice. Oh, and then I got my stake in the middle for the very center. So once these guys are gone, then I'll start marking out. I gotta go get another can of paint too. My paint can ran out, so. Then you can see the string lines. Hopefully that's showing up over there. Going back behind that little group of trees. I don't think you can see a flag back there, but that's where it is. And then of course this one up here painted orange. This one is painted orange as well, you just can't see it. And then where those palms are going in is where the gate will be. So there will be posts there. So this is gonna come this way straight, go to a post here, and then it's gonna kind of 45 out. And then there'll be the main post for the gate. So keep going. All right, so got a load of dirt to take to the back. Our friend's truck. This is 2 tons of cinder soil. And there's my pile of dirt. So it's actually the next morning. It was pretty hot yesterday when I unloaded this pile of dirt. So I wanted to wait till the next morning, till it was a little cooler. It's slightly overcast, so it's not so hot. So I was out here before, and I got these flamethrower palms put in the ground, rocks around, and then the mulch, the wood chips on the top there. So I also earlier, or well, I guess it was later last week, went to Home Depot, chicken manure, wood chips for the top. There's the other flamethrower palm. So essentially when I'm planting anything, I always use chicken manure. It's like one of the best nutrients that you can use. I also do add some other fertilizers and amendments, like usually always add ag lime, and I have some pellet fertilizers that I use for a lot of my trees, and that one I usually just kind of sprinkle on after I get the tree in, but before I put the mulch on, or wood chips, whichever I'm using. I mean, this is mulch too, I guess. Not really wood chips, it's mulch. It's just red mulch. So I am back here, and I'm basically going to just start over here on this tree and then just work my way around, and hopefully it doesn't get too hot. All right, well, there's 2 down. So did a little bit of a rock wall, piled it up, the dirt, mound it up a little bit. When you're planting though, especially here because such wet conditions, you don't want your dirt to go up, you don't want to go up to here, because what's going to happen is it's going to end up rotting this bark. So wherever the tree is coming out, of the soil where it was, that's what you want your top to be. So you can place the potted portion of the plant up higher and then mound up around that, which is kind of what I did. Yeah, you don't want this bark to rot, because then the tree's going to die. So this is all kind of just an experiment anyway, because I don't know how well these will do back here. There's a lot of rock. But the tree will find its way, the roots will find its way through the rocks and the cracks, and it could actually crack the rock as it grows, It's that strong. So I have my little fertilizer mix here. So I'm going to just sprinkle some of that on and then cover it with mulch. That's going to be it. And then I will, add more stuff to this as the months and years go by, because obviously these are going to take years to get big. Within the first couple of years though, they should get probably at least 15 to maybe even 20 feet tall. So all right, let me get the mulch on here, and then basically rinse and repeat 12 more times. So it's been about a week, I think, since I've been back here. Just got busy with the Ohana. I was gone this past weekend over in Kona. So I wanted to come and check it out. Make sure there hasn't been any pigs back here digging up my trees. Things are looking good. So that day that I was back here, I ended up getting 7 trees planted. Yeah. 5 on this side, 2 on this side so far. So I have 6 trees left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 13 trees total. So I'll get out here this week and continue, but they look like they're doing well. That's right in the sun. It's early in the morning. It's like 7 o'clock or maybe 7:15. So the sun's coming up. I also got some additional amendments to put on these. I got some ag lime and some other general fertilizer just to help with the trees, get them established and get them growing. But they all look good. Like I said, these have been transplanted for a week so far, and I don't really see too much yellowing or anything like that. I think I will need to get some strings on here to help keep these kind of upright, because some of them are leaning. But yeah, they look pretty good. So I'll get back here and I'll get those last 6 planted, and then I'll pretty much wrap up this video. All right, I'm back at it this morning, and I just wanted to give like a better breakdown of what I'm doing here. Once I build my little rock wall up, of course the hole's been dug. So I fill the bottom with cinder soil, which is a mix of black cinder and soil. By the way, black cinder helps promote growth. Red cinder inhibits growth a little bit, which is why people put red cinder on their driveways. So once I get my rock ring built up, I fill with the cinder soil, and then the darker media here is the chicken manure. So I put that in. And then the next step is putting the tree in, and then I fill. So let me get that done and I'll be back. All right, so I have this backfilled and it's all leveled out. And as you can see in here, if you look close, you can see the little, clovers and stuff that were growing on the top of the potted tree. So I basically made this level to where the top of the potted tree was. I didn't bury this. Like I was talking about earlier in the video, you don't want to bury the bark because it'll eventually rot in wet conditions like we have here, and then the tree will die for sure. At this point, what I do is I add in my amendments, which is some fertilizer. This is couple humus 888, which is nitrate, phosphorus, it's potash, nitrate, phosphoric acid, and there's also magnesium, I think is what's in this. But it's just a general fertilizer. It's good for trees, vegetables, like pretty much everything. So I sprinkle this stuff basically in a ring around. So normally when you're fertilizing a tree or a shrub, plant, whatever, you want to add your stuff, whatever you're adding, at the drip line essentially. So if there's a canopy to the tree, then that's where you want to add your stuff to. Since these are still small, there's not really a drip line established yet. And then the other thing that I add is dolomite, which is an ag lime. This is good pretty much just to add to anything as well. And I do the same thing. I just sprinkle a ring around. Like that. And at this point, I add the mulch to it. So let me get that done. All right, so now the mulch is on. And the same thing with the mulch. You want to kind of make a little donut around here so it's not piling up against the bark of the tree. And that's good. And then when you're doing this, you don't really want to compact all the dirt. You just kind of let it go. Once it starts raining, the rain will compact the dirt and it'll be a more even, you know, natural compact. So this one's done. And I have 4 more to do. So let me get them finished up. All right, guys, totally done. The amount of dirt that I got ended up being almost perfect. I mean, there's a little bit over there, but probably not enough to do a whole nother tree. But if you look, see all the trees all the way around. And if you're seeing the white ring on these ones, that's because I added the ag lime, because I didn't have it when I planted these, the first ones. So yeah, 13 Koa trees, 2 flamethrower palms, and then I also planted a Rollinia and a Kiefer lime over in this area here. I didn't really show that though, but just other trees that I needed to get planted. So looking at these trees, you see how there's 2 different types of leaves? It looks like 2 different trees. So these are the juvenile leaves, and these eventually fall off. And then these are the adult leaves that you see normally on the Koa trees. So the strange thing is, I got all of these seedlings at the same time. They were all relatively the same size. I got them in November of last year, so that's about 10 months ago. And they were probably a month or so old, so they're probably a year old right now. And as they grew, if they were growing a lot, I moved them up in pots. Some of them went to very large pots, as you saw, like these ones were in big, you know, the 20-gallon bucket pots or whatever those were, 25-gallon. And then some of them didn't grow so big. And I started with about 20 of them, I believe, and there's 13 of them that made it. So the ones in the back are smaller. I tried putting the bigger ones up here, and we'll just see how they do. So I'll keep you guys updated over the years. I mean, I'll probably wait a year and then, you know, see where they're at and do maybe like a little update in one of my videos. But that is it. Putting some Koa trees in the ground. The first thing happening back in this, the back of the property, all the way at the back of the property. So this will be a really cool spot here in another year or two. We'll see. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. I just want to say thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate it. And there will probably be some more videos like this coming this next year, because we're going to start, you know, developing the back of our property, essentially between here and where the chicken coop is, the paddock. That's probably about a good 500 feet of space. So I'm going to be putting in a bunch of other trees, mac nut trees, avocado trees, a bunch of different citrus trees, probably, you know, a couple ulu trees, and then just see how everything grows. You know, it's always hard to tell, like, your elevation, your rainfall, all that stuff makes a difference when you're planting certain things. Certain things grow, do well, some things don't. So we'll see. I mean, even these Koa, we'll see how they do. I mean, Koa trees are kind of like a 401k, right? You do your initial investment and you kind of nurture and feed them over the years, and then, you know, when they're mature, fully grown trees, they're worth quite a bit of money. That's not the reason I'm doing this, but, you know, after I'm gone, if my kids want to do that, then they can do that. You know, that's going to be 40 years down the line. Hopefully I got another 40 years, we'll see. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Aloha.